Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. So, today we are going to be talking about this. That's not what I want to play right now. But yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, today we are going to be talking about a Michael Crichton book by the title of The 13th Warrior. Sorry I did this much late. I forgot to change the time on the video. I know this was originally scheduled for 3 o'clock, but I ended up having to stay at work much later than I was expecting. So I didn't have time to change um, the time of my StreamYard. So I'm here now with you guys today. And again, it's going to be a fairly quick live. We're not going to go into too much details. You guys know how I roll. It's 20, 30 minutes, and I know for many of you guys, you enjoyed the very long live of Arts and Adventures with Tasha, i.e., Tasha. She just did three back to back videos where she was live for a total of 24 hours with the help of Shane from Great Farmer Freelance, and of course, many special and wonderful guests that were on her panels during that 24-hour period. And it was a great job, really well done. Lots of videos. So I definitely recommend that if you guys have a chance to check out her videos as well. So we're just going to go through my typical quote unquote commercial break here, guys, which is of course just showing my my intro. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in about 25 seconds from now. All right, so we're back. Hello, outdoors with Big Matt. Thank you for being here. You're the first one in, but I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for being here. Hello, of course, to Roses, who was here a little bit earlier, but it's okay. They're not here anymore, but it's okay. I still count them. Be glad to have everybody and anybody here for my live. So again, tonight we're going to be talking quickly about Michael Crichton and one of his books written that he wrote, sorry, called 13th Warrior. Now, for those of you who don't know, you probably did see or at least heard of one of his movies, and it's a very big movie that created a whole series of other movies, one of which is out in theaters right now, which is Jurassic Park. Yes, that's right. He's the author of Jurassic Park. He also was the author, sorry, the producer, I should say, of the hit TV show ER. He also wrote the book Congo, which was turned into a movie. 13th Warrior was also a movie as well, and a couple other works as well that he's done. Now, most of his books really could be considered as a sci-fi medical drama type of books. So basically, it's a lot of science gone wrong kind of thing. So Jurassic Park really is very typical for his writing. Thank you very much, Big Matt. Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. So obviously, always good to get the shout outs there, guys. So not only for me, but always try to make sure to shout out other people. If you have 500 people and more, and you put somebody in your community tab, try to also put the at button, um, sorry, the at symbol in your shout outs, because not only does that notify the person that you shout them out, but then people can click on the channel name and be brought to them as well. So if somebody says, hey, I really like Big Matt, or I really like She Stole My Thunder, or whoever, they're able to click on that channel name and be brought to them. So definitely utilize that function, guys, if you can and want to, of course. Obviously, it's not an obligation, but if you can, guys, definitely utilize that as much as possible. So I hope, Big Matt, that you're having a great night. So crack a cold one and let's just chit chat about, of course, the 13th Warrior. Now, I read this book quite some time ago, but I do like Michael Crichton overall. It's the kind of topics that I like. I like the quote unquote science gone wrong. Because as much as I like science, as much as I'm pro science, I also realize I'm not naive. I'm not stupid. I know that science will go wrong sometimes. Doctors and scientists don't always have everything right. There's going to be engineers that think about themselves and are greedy, right? Human beings are human beings no matter what. So of course, science will go wrong because it involves the human beings, right? So, like I said, Jurassic Park really, for me, especially the book, hit it on the nails of what I like to see in more science uh, based movies, or sci-fi, science, medical movies, and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely enjoyed Jurassic Park. Congo was not the best movies, neither was The 13th Warrior. Not because of the thematics of the books or the movies, but more just the movies themselves really didn't present the content of the books very well. Um, but also take in consideration that Michael Crichton books tend to be fairly dry. There's not a whole lot of comedic value to them or horror per se. At least not direct horror. Like you're not going to get a lot of jump scares and things like that. The horror really comes out of the potential difficulties or the potential harm rather than ghosts are scary because, well, it's ghosts. And if you're being attacked by a ghost or if you're being possessed by a ghost, what can you do about it, right? Ghosts are not something we deal with every day. So that's why Jurassic Park was also something that was very successful because, well, dinosaurs are not something that we deal with every day, right? We don't see a Tyrannosaurus Rex running down the street. This is definitely something that's unique or different. While as Congo, the main plot was these killer monkeys, well, or gorillas, I should say. Well, there are gorillas in the wild, right? People encounter gorillas, right? Um, so this is not something that we're like, well, what do you mean killer monkeys? Like, what is this? You know? And of course, we're going to get into this, but of course, 13th Warrior wasn't his best work. Because of course you're dealing with a historical fiction essentially that's based off of a real life uh, person. I can't remember the actual person's name, but this was a Muslim gentleman that did actually travel to what is now basically Scandinavian countries. So think of Norway and all that, right? And of course was talking to the locals and really trying to interact, and of course trying to convert in part as well, because obviously back in the day this is something that happened in, I think, the 1300s or 1400s, something thereabouts, right? Most Muslims, Christians were out there trying to convert people to Christianity, to Islam, like many other religions were at the time as well. So, it's kind of, this is the kind of themes that you're talking about that's, very dry, very matter of fact. So it doesn't lend itself much to horror or action per se, although there was a few quote unquote action moments in the movie and in the book. But overall, you're really talking about more of a historical fiction more than anything else. So, anyways, we're going to get into it. So, um, without any further delay. Like I said, overall the book was okay. I did watch the movie. It did star Antonio Banderas, which was another thing that kind of took people out of the movie. Of course, Antonio Banderas is Spanish, trying to play a Arab Muslim. So that kind of, like, a lot of people were like, could we have gotten an Arab person to play, to play the character? Couldn't we have gone somebody more closer to, the ethnicity of the actual character? So, but anyways, what can you do? You can't always expect accuracy when it comes to Hollywood, unfortunately. Of course, Hollywood. Well, Hollywood, and they're not going to always be accurate when it comes to history, unfortunately, for better or for worse. Hello, hello, Taylor's family. Thank you. Blessings to you as well. Glad to see you here, and I hope you enjoy. I'm just quickly reviewing the book of the 13th Warrior by Michael Crichton. So I just started, so don't worry, you didn't miss a whole lot. So hopefully you like my review tonight. It's of course based, like I said, on the Michael Crichton book, which came out in 1976. The novel is titled Eaters of the Dead, but I think most people know the book and or the movie by the 13th Warrior. And here you're talking about um, a character by the name of Ahmad ibn Fadlan, which is the Arab character played by, of course, the well known and well loved Antonio Banderas. And it is a mix of, and that's why it's a historical fiction, a mixture of this character that's the actual historical fictional character, I believe, and Beowulf, which is a Norse fictional character. But for us, he's fictional, but of course, for many people, Beowulf was a real person. So it's up to debate whether this is actual stuff. But this, like I said, the book itself um, is historical fiction that kind of is a retelling of these stories, right? So of course, there's a certain amount of accuracy of what was really going on, and a certain amount of well, let's play loosey goosey here and do things anything that we think of. So you're really following Ahmad, who, of course, was sent to the north to find out how the Norsemen lived and to try to convert and all that stuff because, well, he was caught doing some hanky panky with one of the king's wife, and of course, the king of, didn't like that. So, of course, he sent Adnab to the north to sort of get rid of him essentially and just eliminate him as potential competition for one of his wives. So, of course, you're seeing the adventures of this character try to integrate himself as much as possible into the North culture and, the language. And, of course, the Northmen were not Muslim, were not even Christian at this time. So they practiced pagan religions at this time, which was much more reflective as to what we would understand the quote unquote Vikings to practice and so forth. So of course here you see his the discoveries that the character makes of how the Vikings live their lives, how they get married, how men and women interact, how you deal with the dead people. Now, the big thing about the big action plot about this book basically is, of course, you have the angel of death and sort of the how should I put it, this mythical character that is supposed to come out and uh, kill you basically. Let me see if I can find uh, oh yes, the Wendell. Okay, so the Wendell is basically supposed to be this fire dragon, essentially, right? So of course, for the Vikings, this is a curse, and it's like something to be feared. And oh my God, it's so dreadful. But it turns out that it was just basically men on horseback carrying, fire on sticks, essentially. So of course, it kind of the book is kind of showing the sort of transformation and how the old world and the new world meets. So you're seeing that the Vikings have obviously a lot of old superstitions and things that they used to do and hold dear to them. And of course, Amdel comes in with quote unquote the new world, and we're going to civilize you and change you, and hey, we're bringing you to the new world and the best world and so forth, and brings, of course, things like the Arabian horse, which is skinnier and taller, versus the North horse, which is like a lot stronger and stockier. So, of course, you have, like I said, a whole clash of culture and different understanding of how the world is supposed to work, and so the civilization is supposed to work. But I'm not going to go too much into the story itself. I'm not going to try to spoil the book for any of you. So yeah, that's pretty much as I'm going to say about the book itself. I want to make sure that you guys go out there and read it for yourselves, hopefully. But of course, if you don't want to, I don't blame you. It's not a book, not science, historical fiction is of course not for everybody. But this one is much more of a historical fiction, even though, like I said before, Michael Crichton tends to write much more, science gone wrong kind of books. Anyway, so yeah, what I liked about the book was that it did try to incorporate quite a bit of history into it. Either directly, so you have a couple maps in the book. Of course, the main character does explain what Ibn means and so forth. So of course, Beowulf, even though it's generally considered as a fictional poetry, tends to reflect a lot of the actual beliefs and ideology of the ancient North people. So you do still have a lot of representation as to, how the world used to see itself and how they used to think of how the world works. So Michael Crichton is really good for that. He tends to really be very good at, what this is how the world works, at least how it used to work. So he's very good at presenting those sort of scientific fact or historical facts, and really tries to integrate all of that into the world, right? So you're really seeing that as, okay, this is how the world works, and let's move on. There's no really, well, maybe in an old alternate universe, it's like, no, people, Muslims did go to the north, to all different parts of Europe, and of course other parts of the world to, integrate themselves into and to potentially convert. And the North did, Norsemen did conquer other countries and other lands and so forth, and had an impact that way as well. So you're really seeing again that sort of, what, these are the things that happen. These are the interactions or potential interactions that a Muslim would have with a Northman, with a Viking, essentially, right? So I do like that element of the book. Um, what else did I like? Um, and I did like that turnabout that you could see that if you didn't know any better, like I said, with the whole Wendell, that if you didn't know any better, you would think, yeah, dragons exist, or Sasquatch exists, or mermaids exist, and so forth, right? I think at one point, the Vikings are jokingly, trying to convince Abin that, oh, this creature that you're seeing here, it's a mermaid. Oh my God, isn't this wonderful? Um, you know, but of course, it is described that at the time Abin would have known very much that was a narwhal or whatever. But you can see that they're all like trying to kid each other, and there's that on both ends of it, that there's things that for the Vikings is very much superstition, is very much part of their mythology, but that they truly believe is a real thing. And then the other way around as well, right? That for as a Muslim, Abin will believe in a certain amount of things, that, oh, this is my superstitions. This is like, no, if I say or do this the wrong way, God's going to curse me, etc. If I don't invoke God in the right way, etc. Right? So you see that both cultures have their superstitions, have their things that are like, no, you don't. There's certain things you don't say. There's certain things you don't do because whatever. But yeah, on both sides, you see that there's a certain amount of religiosity that you kind of just have to respect and accept that, no, we don't, we enter into this world in a certain way, and we deal with the world in a certain way. out of respect to our religious beliefs. So that's the other thing that I do like is that you're seen in both for the Vikings and for the Muslims that there are certain things that you respect and that you revere, and that you have a certain amount of importance to, and that you can't just do anything, right? In one of the scenes, for instance, Abin gets injured, right? And he's like, no, 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 I don't want this treatment because it's not clean, right? Because for Muslims, cleanliness, especially in front of God, is something that is very important. That you revere, that you don't handle your body, or as a man, you don't handle a woman's body the same way. There's this certain amount of respect and reverence that you have for the human body, because you know that, okay, the us as humans were created by God in the image of God, right? So you kind of have to deal with that in a certain way. You can't just handle things in a certain way, whatever way you want to. Um, so that's another thing that I do like about the book. What else? Um, I do like, even though I'm not big on historical fictions, like I said, I do like the fact that you're talking about the ancient world, but not too ancient, right? So you're not talking about something of, oh well, we're building the pyramids, Although yes, you're talking about something that happened in the 13th or 1400s. You're still dealing with things like, okay, well, you're dealing with ships, you're dealing with armories, right? So you still have a certain amount of elements of quote unquote advanced civilizations, right? You're dealing with people that know about pottery, they know about how to make a sword, they know how to, like I said, build a boat and travel. So there's quote unquote this idea, even though they haven't discovered America at this time. Europe is not exactly like this big bold like new world. We don't know about these Vikings. Like, no, no. Asia is well known. Parts of Africa are well known. So people are traveling, are moving about, and are trying to get to know each other as well. Even though sometimes it's about conquering the other person, or converting the person to another religion, there's still that sense of, hey, let's go out there, let's travel, let's meet each other. So that's another thing that I like. Um, what else? I mean, I'm just, talking about whatever here. I'm not, as usual, I'm just giving you guys my, personal opinions on the book and so forth. So, um, let's see here. What else could I say? Give me a second here, guys. Um, oh yeah. So another important thing that, I mean, that's why part of the movie was called the 13th Warrior, and that's what I do like again about the book is that you see that I don't know if this is a real tradition in Viking culture or not, or something that Michael Crichton made up for the book. But the reason why you had the 13 warriors because the Wendell was attacking villages in the Viking world, right? So they had to send out brave warriors to hunt down the Wendell and to consequently protect the cities. So what they would do is they would find 12 brave Viking warriors, but the 13th had to be somebody that wasn't of Viking heritage. So of course, well, Abin being Ahmed, I should say, being of course not a Viking at all in any way, shape, or form. Well, he was picked as the 13th warrior despite himself. Of course, that wasn't his plan. He didn't go, to the Viking villages to be part of this. For him, it was just like, well, no, I was sent by the king to be here, so well, I'm here. So he was included in this group despite himself. And of course, when he first realized that, oh, wait, they're picking me for this? Wait, of course, he was very resistant and very reluctant. So in the movie, you could really see the shock on his face, like, wait, what? What do you want me to do? Where do wait a minute, this is not what I had planned. So of course, at first he was terrified, especially the first battle of the night, which I think was another thing that the Michael Green did very well in the book and in the movie to show that uh, Abin was not Ahmad, sorry, was not a, this isn't somebody that's a trained warrior or fighter. He's not in the army. He's a poet, so he's accustomed to having pen and paper and really writing wonderful poetry and things like that. He's not somebody that takes up a sword on a regular basis, right? And again, this is the 13th, 14th century, so he's not walking around with a gun in his hand or a knife or something. He's really accustomed to, just like I said, writing poetry for the king and really, doing that kind of stuff, right? Um, Now, this isn't about the book per se, but like I said, one of the criticisms I have about the movie is the fact that you have, of course, Antonio Banderas playing a Arab Muslim. Of course, Antonio is not Muslim, more Arab. He's Spanish, and I think he's Catholic, but at the very least, he's Christian. So, of course, this did cause some controversy in the movie as well when it was released, because a lot of people, of course, were like starting to get to that point of like, can we get people like if you're playing the character's Japanese, can we get a Japanese person? If the person's black, can we get a black person? If the person's white, can we get a white person? Is that okay with you, Hollywood? So of course, a lot of people were, against that. And like I said, the book, the movie wasn't, I think this came out just after Jurassic Park or shortly thereafter Jurassic Park, which is, of course, a big hit. So, of course, people had, Jurassic Park expectations. And 13th War is not one of those books. It's not one of those movies. Like I said, you're not dealing with quote unquote big monsters that are going to eat you, although that is partly the premise. The window, like I said, is supposed to be, oh, this dragon that is going to, come out and kill you. Of course, it turned out it was just, like I said, uh, people on horseback with torches in the hand, and that's it. So of course this disappointed a lot of people, and like when you read the book and you're like, wait, this is what the book is about, this is what the movie is about. Okay, never mind. So overall, sorry, it was not necessarily Michael Crichton's best work. I liked it, but it's definitely not the kind of book that's for everybody, unfortunately. You kind of have to really know or be a big Michael Crichton fan to really enjoy it, unfortunately. But hey, what can you do? So I don't know if you guys have any questions or anything about the book or about Michael Crichton himself or anything else. But overall, oh, I forgot to put on some music. But anyways, I'm gonna pretty much end it about here. I mean, I've talked almost about half an hour about this movie. So pretty much that's all that I had to say about the 13th Warrior. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you liked my review. I definitely recommend at least reading the book. The movie, you guys can pass on that. The book was okay, like I said. The movie, not so much. It's a movie. Let's put it that way. But I hope you guys enjoyed my talk today about the 13th Warrior. Now, I probably will go live at least tomorrow morning. I will be out and about during the weekend, so I can't guarantee that I'll go live at night. But at the very least, I'll try to do my Spanish lessons tomorrow morning, where, of course, I spend 20-30 minutes learning Spanish. So hopefully, you guys will join me tomorrow morning for that. I will schedule that later on. So pay attention for that. So I hope to see you guys there. If not, I hope to see you guys in one of the many, many lives that I tend to join. I probably will be at Shane, so Great Farmer Freelances live tomorrow morning. So, bonsoir, Peter Investor M. Comment ça va? Thank you for being here. I'm ending now, Peter, but thank you for stopping by. I just spent 20-30 minutes talking about the book and slightly about the movie, The 13th Warrior. So I hope you're doing well today, and I hope, Peter, that you have a great weekend. So that's pretty much it for me, like I said, guys, and I hope to catch you guys in one of the many lives or videos that are out there. So I hope you guys have a great Friday night and a great weekend. And I hope to see you guys in these YouTube streets. So have a great day, guys. Bye. Au revoir.